develop your economy and build the finest town in the Wild West. But as you venture across the frontier, keep your wits sharp and your trusty revolver close. Dangerous outlaws are lurking, ready to ambush you at every turn. Here is how to play West Story, a town building game. Hello and welcome to Weekly Game Night channel. My name is Adam and today I'm taking you to the West Frontier as I will be doing quick presentation and how to play video of West Story, a town building game, the tableau building Euro game from Smart Flamingo, who are also the sponsors of this video. You can find this game designed by Piotr Dachtera and lovely illustrated by Tomasz Bolik on Gamefound. As usual, the link to the campaign is out there in the description. So, shall you wanna learn how to play West Story? Bear with me so I can tell you real quick what it's all about and show you how to play the game. West Story, a town building game, is a competitive tableau building action selection Euro game for 1 to 4 players. This game puts you in the boots of a pioneer aiming to build the most bustling town in the wild, untamed frontier. In West Story, you will start with some basic actions, but don't you worry, partner, things get more exciting real quick. You will be buying new cards from the market to beef up your action tableau, making your town richer, tougher and more impressive than your rivals. Picture this. Each time you roll the dice, you are triggering actions that could earn you more cows, cowboys, coins, or even some of those shiny victory points. As you score points, you wander through the dusty trails of the game board to come across towns where you can trade your hard-earned resources for actions. But keep your 6-shooter handy, because those pesky outlaws are lurking around every corner. When you meet one, it's time to either say your prayers or take them down for some loot and glory. Now for how to play. So grab your hat, rustle up your best cowboy draw and get ready to build the greatest town the West has ever seen. Yeehaw! For the setup, you will have to prepare the player boards, game board and the market. Each player receives a player board. On it, you will find 2 rows of basic actions along with tracks for your cows and hats. Start by placing 1 cow on the board and setting your hat marker at the 0 space. Also, take note of the symbol in the upper left corner. Each player has a different one, which will rustle up some points at the end of the game, unless you decide to swap it out with a railroad certificate. You will also need 8 town discs, 12 black cubes and 4 shiny coins to kick things off. And don't forget to place your scoring marker on the starting space of the game board. This is where your journey to the top begins. Now let's set up the game board. First, drop 12 coins into the gold pan. This is the treasure everyone is gunning for. Shuffle the 6 railroad certificates, draw 4 and place them face up in 2 stacks in the upper left area of the board. Next, shuffle the villain tokens and place them face down on their spots. Cover each with a coin, because after all, we're the ones who will be robbing them, right? Place any remaining cows and coins on the board. The market is where you will find the tools to build your town. It consists of 3 decks of cards: production, scoring and building. For production, choose 5 types of buildings and leave the rest in the box. Shuffle the deck. Just make sure you've got at least 2 buildings with 4+ hats and another 2 with 4+ coins in the cost. Shuffle the other 2 decks, then draw 4 cards from each to create your market for the game. If you are playing with 2 players, cover 1 trade space in each town. After the setup, your game board should look like this, and the entire board like this. Once we are ready, the player who's itching to build their town the most grabs the 2 dice and we're ready to roll. It's time to saddle up and dive into the first round. Each game round is divided into 3 main phases: production, player turns, passing the dice. In this sequence, players will gather resources, take actions, and gear up for the next round. As you score victory points, your marker advances along this core track, unlocking access to different regions, towns, and those pesky villains. Just like in the Wild West, sharp thinking and timing will be your best allies in the race to become the top town builder. The production phase kicks off with the first player rolling the 2 dice, 1 yellow and 1 green. The numbers rolled will dictate which actions on the top yellow and bottom green rows will be activated simultaneously by all players this round. For instance, if you roll 2 and 4, place black cubes on the corresponding actions in each row. If an action has already been taken, simply move the cube to the nearest available action to the right. Before we move on, let's take a closer look at those action cards. In the upper left corner, you will see the cost of the card. The upper right corner shows the building cards type, and just beneath, there are victory points you will earn when you buy the card. This is how you move your scoring marker on the board, helping you visit different regions of the game board. At the bottom left, you will find the card symbol, and in the bottom section, the production value is displayed. Some cards also have special abilities you can use during your turn, while others might score you additional victory points at the end of the game. If you manage to mark 2 cards with the same symbol, congratulations! You've triggered a combo. This allows you to take a 3rd action with the same symbol, giving you a little extra edge in the game. Wild animal cards are particularly handy because they come with a wild symbol that matches any other symbol, making it easier to pull off these sweet combos. When you mark these cards, you can choose any action that matches the card symbol from the other row. In this case, I would be able to activate the pistol's actions as well. With the cubes in place, it's time to execute your actions to get hats, cows, victory points, or other benefits. In this case, we get 2 hats, so we move the hat marker up the track by 2. Anytime you pass 4 hats mark, you get an extra coin. Ka-ching! We also get 1 cow from the second action, so we add 1 cow to the herd. Note the coin symbol on the cow track. You will get a coin every time you place cows on these spots. Remember, in West's story, cows are a wild resource, meaning they can be used as either coins or hats. If you pass 6 cows or hats, you will earn 1 victory point for each instead. Finally, if you execute a building action with an hourglass symbol, you can use its special ability this round. To wrap up the production phase, if one of your rows is full, remove all the black cubes, making all the actions available again for the next round. Now you are ready for the next phase of the game. After the production phase wraps up, it's time for each player to take their turn. First up, check the position of your scoring marker on the board. If you find yourself in a region with a villain, it's time to face off. Flip that villain token face up and see what kind of trouble you are in for, or, better yet, what kind of loot you can steal. On the left side of the villain token, you will see the fight cost and the victory points you will earn at the end of the game if you take them down. Use your heads and coins to defeat the villain. Don't forget, cows can be used as wild resources, so they can help you out here too. If you manage to defeat that no-good scoundrel, you get the token and all the riches they've been hoarding. But if you are not feeling up to the challenge, or you are just plain out of resources, you can pay the cost listed on the right side of the token to avoid the fight. Pay as much as you can with coins and cows. Whatever wealth that Rascal is holding onto will be up for grabs for the next player brave enough to face him. Whether you've dealt with the villain or not, you can now trade with the town in the area where your marker is located. In this case, your marker is in the Dutch City area and you can trade there to gain some extra actions and endgame points. Just pay the trade cost listed on the town and place your disc on an available space. Please note that you can only place disc if you are able to mark an action with that symbol on your player board. In this case, I've placed the disc on a wild symbol so I can perform a wild available action from my player dashboard and additionally get a bonus of 1 cow. Throughout the game you can trade with each town up to 3 times. The more discs you place, the more victory points you will rack up at the end of the game. For example, in Dutch City you would earn 2, 5 and 10 victory points for placing 1, 2 and 3 discs respectively. If your score marker is hanging out in the upper left desert region, instead of trading with the town, you can buy a railroad certificate. Pay 4 coins for a top certificate or 6 coins for one from the bottom. Place the certificate on your player board, covering your printed symbol. This certificate will score you 3 victory points at the end of the game for each pair of cards you've bought that matches the symbol on the certificate. Finally, it's time to buy some cards to upgrade your player dashboard with better actions. You can buy up to 2 cards, but if you pass on any of these actions, you get a free cow. Don't underestimate the power of extra cows. To buy a card, simply pay its cost shown in the upper left corner and place the card on an unmarked spot on your player dashboard. You can even place a card on top of another, and all the cards in your tableau will count for your final scoring. After buying, refill the market. And once per round, you can spend 1 hat to reset a row of cards in the market if you are not liking your options. Before wrapping up your turn, reset your hat track to 0. You can't keep those boys in line for long, can you? Once all players have taken their turns, pass the dice to the player with the most coins, give that cowboy 1 coin from the gold pan, and get ready to start the next round. Yeehaw! Every time player's score marker passes 42 points, that player takes 1 gold from the gold pan, so the game length depends on how fast can player get to that lake area. When there are no coins left in the gold pan at the end of a round, the game ends, and it's time for the final scoring. After all the hard work of building your Wild West town, it's time to count up those victory points and see who's really the big boss around here. Each player will add up the victory points they have collected during the game, along with count up the victory points from all the villain tokens you have taken down. 3 points for a pair of symbols on your cards that matches your railroad certificate, or 2 points for your default symbol. Some wild animal cards come with bonuses that score you additional points. Score points based on your trades with the towns. How well did you negotiate? Make sure to check all the cards on your player dashboard, even those covered by other cards. Wild symbols don't count toward matching symbols for your railroad certificates. The player with the most victory points wins the game and earns the title of the top pioneer in the town. If there is a tie, compare the victory points from villain tokens, and if needed, tally up the cows and coins you've accumulated to determine the ultimate town builder. Alright, and now that you know how to play West Story, a town building game, make sure to check out the campaign of this game on Gamefound, as plenty of new content will be available, which includes uncatchable villains, varying town trade symbol tiles, and wild tokens for easier combos. If you made it to this part, it was a pleasure. Thanks for watching, and until the next one.